Welcome to another episode of Mighty Carmwoods. That was weird. Welcome to another episode of Mighty Car Mods, proudly supported by Just Car Insurance. It's more Mad Mini time, Martin.
That's right, the build continues.
What are we doing today, Martin?
I'm very confused by the term build.
Are you?
When I think of build, I think of a brick wall.
Do you?
But when you're are you building a car?
If you're building a Subaru, you are.
Why?
A brick.
Oh, wow.
Oh. Martin, I do believe today we're converting this Mini from SPI, single point injection, to multi-point injection.
That's
MPI
right.
madness. Tell me all about it, Martin.
Now, when I think of multi-point injection, I don't really think of two massive fuel injectors side by side. They're 440s as far as we know, so that's 880 cc's of awesomeness, which is less than the size of one injector in supergrams.
Okay. We don't really care about supergrams.
I do. Anyway, so there's two injectors there, so we've gone from one toilet bowl injector to two toilet bowls injectors.
How is your toilet bowl injector? Has that cleared up?
Yeah, man, it's fine.
Oh, good.
Just injecting some awesomeness into the bowl.
Yeah,
which is what this is doing. So this is going to get put on hopefully today.
Yeah, it is. Now, the other thing that we're going to be doing is Miles is over there right now, dose vadering his ass off, finishing up our loom. So that's going to be awesome. And then the other thing that we're going to be doing is sorting out all the cooling and all the fuel lines, because we are converting this Mini to run on E85. So
petrol.
Yeah, or both. We're going to be putting in a flex fuel sensor so it can run on, pump fuel. They call it pump gas, don't they, in the States?
Pump gas.
No,
that's not what I think of when people say they're going to pump gas.
So we're going to be converting the car to run on E85, which means we need special E85 compatible fuel line. It's going to be an awesome day, Martin. More Mini madness. There's lots to do, so let's get to it.
We've got our supercharger in place and a belt to make it all work. But because we're doing a custom setup using a Subaru part, we need to make a support bracket to help brace the original supercharger tensioner so that it doesn't move.
Now, because we can't use the tensioner that came with the supercharger, we've done our own setup. Miles has done a very clever trick with the belt. We need to lock the tensioner that came with it in, so we're going to use a bit of steel bar like that. We're going to attach it to the front of the supercharger, then we're going to weld it in so we've got kind of a gusset that holds it in place so it won't move.
It's like underpants, isn't it?
Pretty
Extra
much.
support.
Yeah. Just holds your junk where it needs to be.
It's not junk, man. It's Mini. Best car in the world, ever invented. Everyone knows it.
Best car, good car.
Do you like it, Martin?
I do like it. Have I mentioned that I can't wait to hear it?
Yeah. But Miles over here, he doesn't like Minis, on the other hand. Do you, Miles?
Not at all.
I don't believe that. I think he's just like blissing out right now. I'm doing a Warren loom for a Mini, it's the best thing in the world.
I don't like him. I love him.
Yes.
You may remember last episode when we told you that the supercharger wasn't coming off again. Well, it's coming off again, so we can finish our custom bracket.
Man, the supercharger's so mad. Simple, mechanical, bolted on, makes power. It's awesome. Do you reckon it'll fit on my Subaru? Guess not then. Guess it's going on the Mini. So here's the bracket that we've made up using this convenient hole that we put a bolt through. We've mounted it where the pulley is going to go, and then we're just going to weld along here and along the back of this, which will just give this a bit more support, because this is no longer adjusting the pulley, because we've got a V-belt now that's using the factory tensioner, which is kind of a nice, neat way to do it. So that's going to get welded so it doesn't move. That's me mad.
It's going to keep our mad choo-choos consistent.
I don't know what I'm saying. Something like that.
Really? Dude, you know what you're doing. It's awesome. Basically, because we're changing the belt system of how it's originally meant to run on this kind of supercharger that runs on the modern Minis, we're running it differently because the way that this is set up, over here we're doing a bit of a custom belt setup, and that means that we're going to need to run a different kind of belt, which means over here we need to run a little bit of extra support on that tensioner because we're not using that to tension it anymore. We're using the factory tensioner that's already there down the bottom of the engine.
What he said.
Which is what we both just said twice. Let's do it, Martin.
Let's take it, man.
With our new bracket well and truly underway, now it's time to check up on the wiring.
I've pretty much finished wiring the Haltech end of the loom. I have a few other little modifications to do that have to attach to the engine. I have 2 wires left out of the original Rover Mini plug.
And what do they do?
I am assuming that they're for air conditioning. The problem being is that being a JDM car, and the JDM cars were the only ones with the air conditioning, we cannot find a wiring diagram anywhere to guarantee that.
Yeah.
What I'm going to do is terminate them ready to go into the Elite plug if we need them. It may be a complete standalone system which does its own thing, but it would be nice to run it through the Elite and have the Elite control the air conditioning, therefore it will idle the engine up when the engine load comes on for the AC compressor. So we'll leave them out. Once the loom's plugged into the car, we can hook the battery up, we can then turn the switch on for the air conditioning and actually see whether these wires do what I assume they're doing. And if that's the case, we'll then be able to just pin them straight into the Haltech plug, and happy days.
Did you know that you're a genius?
No, I'm not.
And an incredibly nice man? Did you know these things?
My hair's not messy enough to be a genius.
No, man, you're awesome. I just can't believe that you've got so much power in one room. Like up at AM Auto, you've got you and Turbo Yoda. You guys just hanging out every day, just doing engine conversions, mad turbo things, supercharging
cool.
things, every day.
Hey, that's like hanging out with me when I'm with you, right?
Yeah, I think so.
It's like the same but a bit different.
They're like us, but heaps better.
Oh.
It's a good idea to get a labeler when you're working on your car so you can mark up everything clearly so you know where it goes later, whether it's parts or it's wiring. With the bracket finished, now we can focus on getting all of our plumbing supplies.
Okay, so 532 or 3/16 90-degree fitting with a 1/8 BSP thread, and then a 3/8 90-degree fitting in BSP thread in either 1/8 or 1/4, depending what they have.
Yep, that's right.
Nerdy engineering, brain explosion.
Just remember, convert BSP to MPT. If you're going to go to aeroflow,
Yeah.
it's MPT. And if that's the case, we've already got the thread tap for it, so you don't have to buy a thread tap.
Okay, cool.
Make sense?
1/4. If it's aeroflow, then it's NPT.
Yep.
Got it.
Yep.
Professional. So I've got a bit of parts getting to do. First stop is Haltech to get a few extras for our fuel injection system. And then I've got to get stuff like brass nipples, sounds a bit rude, and a few bits to weld more stuff together. Mad? Thank you, sir. More Haltech goodies. Mad. Hey, man.
Mad.
I got a fuel filter. I'm with Mechanical Stig.
Hey bro,
Hey everyone.
what's happening?
And we have fittings. Brass fittings. Do you know anything about minis?
A little bit.
A little bit? Did you ever own one?
I had like 7 at one point.
You had 7 minis.
Yeah, and they never made it to the road.
Sounds like my Geminis.
Yeah.
Alright, fittings. Next stop is the tool shop to get more welding gear so we can stick stuff together with electricity. I've got some exhaust flanges, so we'll be able to weld on our exhaust to our cat converter and then into our headers. It's a good day.
Back at the shed, I'm removing the catalytic converter that was installed during Australian compliance, and we're going to be replacing it with a custom high-flow performance cat. We need to weld on some flanges, so I'm also removing the rest of the system.
So Miles, we're up to an exciting part of the day because we're doing fuel lines. Tell me what the plan is.
Yeah, so we're going to plumb some fuel hose for our fuel system. These are this is one of the original 2 hoses that came from the factory fuel lines. Now they have a late model EFI fitting, which is a what they would call a click lock fitting. So rather than having a normal piece of rubber hose and a clamp, we just basically push this on. As it goes on, this clicks out and it locks it in place, and with the pressure behind it, it can't come off. So because these have been swaged onto a hose, rather than go through all the expense of paying someone to make new hoses for us, the guys at Aeroflow have come up with fittings that you can buy and use to convert your EFI click lock style hose to a normal hose tail to run a normal hose.
That's awesome.
So what we're going to do is we're going to get rid of those ones. We're going to use these ones. So basically now what we have, it's in two pieces. Inside here we have exactly the same as what was inside the original factory one. It has an O-ring in there and the steel tube goes inside there, so that pushes down onto the steel tube. And then this one here has a cutout which allows you to slip it around the pipe, and then once it slips around the pipe you can then put it in and tighten it up. Put a spanner on the bottom, spanner on the top, lock it up tight.
Very cool.
Done.
For fuel injectors to work properly, they need to be supplied with high pressure fuel. And while we could have used traditional hoses, hard lines and clamps, we're basically making a custom system which requires various adapters and high quality fittings to make sure that our system runs not only reliably, but also that our injectors are well fed with sweet, sweet ethanol. We're making up a little bracket to mount our flex fuel sensor in the engine bay, and this is going to let us run both E85 and 98 pump fuel. This is our adjustable fuel pressure regulator, and now we've just got to find somewhere that it'll actually fit in the engine bay. While we're working on the fuel system, I'm also going to do some preventative maintenance.
Now we don't know what the condition is like of the fuel filter that came on the car from Japan, so we're going to change it to a new one. This is 50 bucks. It's just a good insurance policy to make sure that everything is doing what it needs to do. Plus we're going to be making more power running different fuel, so it's just a good time to change it.
With the old fuel filter removed, we can crack it out of its bracket and replace it with a brand new one. If you are replacing your fuel filter at home, make sure you check to ensure that you've got the filter aligned so that petrol flows in the direction of the arrow. The new fuel filter is in, and we've had another epic day. And all going to plan, next time the car should be finished.